Hello, and thank you for joining us for this season finale of the Newsfeed. I'm Brooke Van Buren. In this edition of the Newsfeed, we will bring you stories making headlines at Virginia Tech and in the New River Valley. In the first half of our newscast, we will look specifically at stories related to Virginia Tech campus and community. And later in the show, we turn our attention to news in and around the New River Valley area. We start off with Virginia Tech news. Recently, protesters in support of Palestine have been gathering outside Squires and the Graduate Life Center. It's an event that has brought together numerous groups of people. The protesters use many signs, chants, and flags to show their support for Palestine and give their opinions on current topics of dispute. Undergrad and graduate students are not the only ones seen gathered to protest, but also people of all ages. Young children, high schoolers, teachers, and many parents have all been brought together for their own personal reasons and to stand with college students.
On the media, he saw like a little kid in his age, and he was killed by an airstrike. And since then, he decided to be here on the protest, just support because he's a human. And
protesters of all ages continue to gather outside of Squires and the Graduate Life Center looking to answer any questions people may have about what they are standing for. Even children as young as 6 years old can be seen talking with people about their reason for coming to support the protest. Just days after the Virginia Tech women's basketball team ended their 2024 season, the university's athletic program went into a tailspin with the departure of the head coach and several key players. What is the outlook for women's basketball at Virginia Tech with the coaching staff? Newsfeed reporter Bella Demo tells us more.
On March 26th, Coach Kenny Brooks announced he'd be leaving Virginia Tech and moving to coach at University of Kentucky. Georgia Moore and Clara Strack also announced that they would be leaving Virginia Tech and following their coach to Kentucky. The Hokies women's team also lost their leading scorer Elizabeth Kitley as she was drafted into the WNBA April 15th.
The Hokies may have lost many key roles from their team, but with new coach Megan Dunphy joining the program, she is ready to rebuild this team and make it something great. Assistant Director of Broadcast Services for the women's team, Evan Hughes, highlights what Coach Duffy has already done for the team.
When you talk to Coach and she talks about the intensity that she wants her teams to play with on defense, I think you're going to see a very scrappy Tech team that makes it difficult for every basket to be scored on the other end. And then offensively, Coach Duffy's a former point guard. And so I think you're going to see really good offense. I think you're going to see a team that continues to shoot the three ball well.
After the news of Coach Brooks and 3 key players leaving, Hokie fans were shocked and worried about what next year would be like. But with a new head coach and a strong team, the Hokies should be in for a successful 2025 season. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Bella Demo.
As the end of the spring semester approaches, students all over the U.S. are returning back home for the summer. Whether they are flying or driving, they still need a safe place to store their things. So while students are facing the overwhelming task of packing up their belongings and finding a place to store them over the summer, the demand for storage units is increasing. This makes it more difficult for students. Sophomore at Virginia Tech, Kelsey Halverson, says it was difficult to find storage, so she took a different approach.
I started looking for a storage unit for the summer because I'm from Illinois, so obviously I don't want to have to bring home all my stuff for the summer. And last year I just asked a friend to keep my stuff in their apartment. And it was really easy because then I know that I'll also have that friend be able to use their car to help me move all my stuff to their apartment. So I decided to do the same thing again this year. I ended up being just a sister in my sorority.
The shortage in storage units is driven in part by the influx of college students needing temporary storage solutions. This has forced some students to resort to less than ideal alternatives. Virginia Tech's Duck Pond is undergoing a dredging project from this April to June. It aims to remove the sediments that have built up over time and prevent the pond from becoming a marshland. I spoke to Virginia Tech professors and students to find out how this project will impact the wildlife. The loud sound coming from the duck pond is drawing eyes.
I saw a little boat in there and I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on.
The duck pond is undergoing a dredging project to remove the sediments that have accumulated over time at the bottom of the pond. The project started mid-April and is expected to run about 6 weeks.
If they didn't dredge it, pretty soon the duck ponds would become kind of a marshland.
Dr. Bill Nockey, a professor in Virginia Tech's Civil Engineering and Environmental Department, wrote an email 2 years ago to the town and university letting them know the project is long overdue.
This is just where we were 40 years ago. How did you all let it get back to this point?
In the late 1980s, Virginia Tech cleaned out the sediments by cutting a hole in the dam to drain the pond. This was detrimental to the wildlife, according to Dr. Nockey. Now they have barges which suck up the sediments and move it into bags on the golf course. This more modern way of removing sediment has less effect on the wildlife, but it could still disrupt turtles or animals who bury themselves in the sediment. Environmental policy and planning major Rosalia Cause is concerned with how it affects the environment.
I don't like the sound of that, and I don't know if it's possible, but I think it'd be a better idea to do something about the fish and other aquatic life in there before.
Dr. Nockey says the impact should be minimal.
They're very conscious of the fact that they're trying to do as little as they can that would impact the aquatic life in the pond itself.
The professor says the barges in the pond should be out by June, and the sediments drying in bags on the golf course are expected to be drained of water by October. Stay with us, there's more just ahead on this special edition of the Newsfeed. Coming up, we'll tell you how a group is working to find solutions to reduce violence in Roanoke. And we'll take a look at how one town in the NRV is looking to boost sports tourism and its economy. Those stories and more after this break.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason. Thank you.
A place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Welcome back to the Newsfeed. I'm Brooke Van Buren. Roanoke City has seen a decrease in gun violence this year following a record high of homicides last year. In the Roanoke Police Department's gun violence statistics report comparing the first quarter of this year to last year, there's been nearly a 74% decrease in the number of shootings. The nonprofit group Families Expecting Deliverance Using Prayer, or Fed Up, brings awareness to gun violence and the impact on families. President and founder Rita Joyce says the report made her happy after a tiring 2023.
So to see it dropped, and we have not visited a family since February, that's hopeful for us because that's what we're here for, to end gun violence.
Joyce founded the organization after she lost her own son Joey to gun violence. She says even though gun violence has decreased, Fed Up's work will not end. For many states, sports tourism is a large component of modern-day visitation and travel. New River Valley officials have been working to bring in more travel sports outside of the county and state these past few months. However, Christiansburg hosts one public space ideal for increasing sports tourism in the county. Newsfeed reporter Tucker Oakley has more in this next story.
The Montgomery County Tourism Office has been planning to increase sports tourism countywide by starting with its best public sports space, Christiansburg. One of the biggest attractions for travel sports is Huckleberry Park, which opened for public use back in 2023 after 10 years of construction. The 50-acre park houses 4 official turf fields, a splash pad pool, dog park, playground, and connections to the Huckleberry Trail. It is the ideal spot for soccer, football, and lacrosse games and practices for both local schools and recreational teams. County officials plan to use Huckleberry Park more for youth travel sports outside of both the county and the state, including North Carolina, Kentucky, and West Virginia. These officials have partnered with the Huddle Up Group tourism consultants to develop new strategies to build outdoor tourism and sports tourism in other towns in the New River Valley, beyond college sport hubs like Blacksburg and Radford. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Tucker Oakley.
An Amtrak expansion in the New River Valley is likely to lead to an uptick in tourism. The Virginia Passenger Rail Authority, or VPRA, has finalized the possible locations of the Christiansburg Amtrak station. They believe that this station will bring numerous benefits to the NRV. The three possible locations of the are off Cinnabar Road, near the mall, and a combination of the two. Cinnabar Road location will cost approximately $366 million and is the easiest and quickest route to build. This is essentially a fully funded project as the cost is already built into the budget. The other alternative routes will cost about $785 and $951 million. The station is projected to be in service by 2028 to 2023, depending on which route VPRA chooses. They have applied for NEPA and are currently waiting their report so construction can begin. VRPA also recently determined the need for a layover facility.
We need a layover facility in Christiansburg because you're at the end of the line, and that's where we will turn the trains at the end of the day, clean them, and prepare the equipment for the next day's service.
A second round of surveys to collect public opinion is now open on their website. VPRA is gathering information on where the public wants the station and station platform to be located. It will close May 17th in 2024. Many businesses are preparing for the upcoming graduation weekend. The town of Blacksburg will be full of soon-to-be graduate students and their families and friends. From He Fun on Main Street to Cellar Restaurant down the road, preparations are underway to ensure a smooth weekend. Newsfeed reporter Madison Cho joins us in the newsroom with more.
Blacksburg is buzzing with excitement as graduation draws near. With seniors making plans for their families and friends, restaurants across town are gearing up for the anticipated surge in customers. I went downtown to Main Street to find out more about He Fun and Cellar Restaurant's plans.
Virginia Tech's 2024 graduation ceremonies are approaching fast. It's important that all seniors have plans for incoming family and friends. Restaurants are preparing for the high volume of customers they will get that weekend. One restaurant, called He Fun, located on Main Street, will be open for their second year. With last year's graduation weekend, they are even more prepared. Front of house manager Julene Estrella-Guillet tells us the restaurant's plan.
This is our second year open for graduation, therefore we're taking reservations to help us get a head start on our busy night. Because last year we were busy, so we're expecting more customers to be coming in, and that way we'll be using our full menu and full staff.
Many restaurants like He Fun are taking reservations to prepare, but there are some that are not. Michael Hawk, general manager of Cellar Restaurant on Main Street, tells us more.
So yeah, we're expecting a high volume of people this weekend. Therefore, we'll have all staff on for all positions. We won't be taking reservations due to the high volume of people, but it's always one of our busiest weekends of the year.
As the countdown to Virginia Tech's 2024 graduation ceremonies ticks away, the town of Blacksburg hums with anticipation. From Main Street to every corner of the community, restaurants are gearing up for the influx of visitors. With graduation weekend approaching fast, Blacksburg restaurants stand ready to welcome the celebratory crowds with open doors and bustling kitchens.
This year, Virginia Tech will honor over 7,000 bachelor's degree candidates from all colleges throughout the upcoming week. The town will be busy with students and their guests. Restaurants from Blacksburg to Christiansburg and even to Roanoke will have a surge in business. I'm Madison Cho reporting for the Newsfeed.
Thanks, Madison. Well, that will wrap up this special edition of the Newsfeed. A look at stories making headlines in the New River Valley and at Virginia Tech. The Newsfeed will be going on a hiatus for a few months, but will be returning in September with a new group of journalists and a new series of stories to keep you up to date about what's going on with Virginia Tech and the New River Valley. While we are away, if you have a story idea, send them our way. You can connect with us on our socials or send us an email at thenewsfeed@nrv@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brooke Van Buren. For all of us at the Newsfeed, we hope you enjoy the rest of spring and have a wonderful summer.